What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And Tasha K interviewed an alleged male Freakoff participant who made some very serious accusations and claims regarding Diddy and Cassie. Like the video's intro plays, because we got a lot to talk about.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
What I love about Mims, Make It Make Sense, he's a YouTuber. He gets the court record. So he gets the cases.
Make it make sense. You know what was up. And don't you forget that.
Big Mims. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Can you release me?
You want me to let you go?
Yes, please. I'm sorry for everything. If you let go, I won't be in the streets no more.
You're not gonna work on the streets no more and be out here and about? You give me your word you're gonna take off out of here, not stick around?
I'll leave, okay? I won't ever do it. I'll be a boy for you. I won't work my looks no more. Excuse my beauty.
Excuse your beauty. Okay.
Okay, so let's start here. It's full disclosure. All these things are alleged, and I kind of want to know for you guys if it passes the smell test, because people are, of course, are going to come out of the woodwork now. But first, Tasha K has this on her app. She did not put it on her channel. Then there's no photos of the gentleman, so I don't know. We all know that Tasha K records phone calls. Excuse me. We all know that Tasha K does record phone calls. So maybe he wanted to talk and then maybe decided not to, but the phone call was already recorded. I don't know, but there's a lot of serious allegations. Our job is to source this out. He says, well, first, this is the brother. So it's a phone call with the brother. Again, Tasha K records. The brother says, I saw all the drama that he has a brother who was a participant with the Diddy Freakoffs. And he always thought that it was just weird stories that the brother was telling him. I thought it was strange from the beginning when he said, I have a brother, as opposed to my brother. That was a little strange. That the brother was going to participate in these Freakoffs 40 times a year between 2010 to 2017. Once he saw the video of Cassie and Diddy, he wanted to reach out to see what he could help with. Okay. Only after you saw the video? That's what he said initially, guys. We'll get to this because things changed towards the end of this interview. But my thought was, what would you be reaching out for to Cassie now? She has her kids, she has her family, she has her money. But again, it's a weird interview, so we'll bring this back up a little later. He alleged that he used to see Puffy kick and or punch Cassie. And at one time she was pregnant by him. Claims he saw Puffy chasing her through the London hotel because she got out of line. He felt like he really wanted to talk to somebody, so he reached out to TMZ, and TMZ told him to reach out to an attorney. I just don't know, guys. You're reaching out to TMZ and Tasha K. But again, I can only tell you what he said, and I can only tell you what doesn't pass the smell test. If I were an active participant in one of these things and I no longer had Cassie's information, I probably would be reaching out to Cassie's attorney. He says that he said that she was in love with Diddy, and he never thought that she would ever leave him. Diddy, that is. He talks about one of the Freakoffs. He said that in one of them, there were 4 to 5 men, and trains were being ran, and his brother was the only person who was able to last. It was a 2-day Freakoff, and that's how his brother became one of the people that was called more often, because he had the stamina. Perhaps he was on Cameron's drugs. He had the stamina to stick around. He started then alluding to Puffy being gay because he saw many, many men in these situations, and he would see Puffy leave with the guys. And he also kept calling him Puff, which to me gave a little credence because it tells me that he's probably older, and in those days it was Puffy and not Diddy. So that was one of the few things that I thought passed the smell test. He's scared because he doesn't have any money to fight Diddy if Diddy were to come after him, or if Diddy wanted to tie up any loose ends. And so that to me was a eureka moment. Whether this man is telling the truth or not, there is a money aspect to it. Tasha K is not going to pay you. You might have gotten some from TMZ, perhaps from Vlad. Tasha K is not paying for her interviews, which is maybe why this was just now a phone conversation and not an actual interview. Tasha says she offers her platform and that she will protect him as much as she can. Now, Tasha, you know that. Okay, Tasha. Do I believe that at all? No. She says that Diddy will not come after him. We don't know that. The guy goes on to say that his brother feels bad because he watched her get beat up so much, and that he did not interject because he was scared that the bodyguards who would often be outside the Freakoffs would then beat him up. And also that he always felt like Cassie would go back to Diddy, offering him the ability to say that's why he did not step in. He also says that the brother ultimately became numb to seeing things at the Freakoffs and to seeing Cassie getting assaulted. He then goes on to allege that one time in Long Island, he saw Cassie overdose on GHB. Tasha says, "Can you get your brother to call me?" He says his brother gets off at 5. He'll try. We are in such a space now where anybody can say anything. And that has been a recurring theme over the last few weeks, and especially over last week with the lady whose last name was Booth. Some people believe her, some people don't. Now we're in a time where people don't necessarily have to offer up receipts. We do know that Cassie and Diddy took copious amounts of illegal drugs. Cassie did admit to being in rehab, but all of these things are common knowledge at this point. So you never really know with these people what's true or not true. So then you hear the phone ringing, and Tasha says, "Is this the one that I just spoke with? Is this the brother?" And the man, who is now the Freakoff participant, said, "No, it's just a friend." Tasha says, "I do this because I want to do the right thing." That might be part of it, but that's not the only reason. This is also Tasha's job, and it's how she makes her money. So I call bull on that. She says, "I do this because I want to do the right thing. It's not about clicks and views or salacious titles." Now, Tasha. Okay. Now, this is where it gets extremely weird. The dude admits that he lied on the earlier call and that there is no brother. It's him. And Tasha says, "I figured it was because you started talking in third moments, but there was moments that I cried." Tasha, I do not believe that you were crying. I heard your voice and it was a softer tone, but Tasha, stop it. Stop it. She was laying it on thick. But at this point, I'm like, Tasha, I'm a little, you have the phone interview. You don't need to do this now at this point. I was really kind of thinking,
I am sick of your shit. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired.
Stop lying to this man. You either gonna get the interview or not. The man then says he was in a DV relationship with a female who was actually stalking him. And that's why Cassie's situation hits him so hard. I don't know how the correlation between just the stalker and Cassie actually being physically assaulted, but okay. Now, this was important. In the talks that he had with Cassie, he alleged that Cassie wanted him to follow the principle of the art of deception. She wanted him to play the role, and he told her that that's not what he was here for. He was there for her. Again, bullshit. You were there for the money. Sometimes when you get to talk to people or interview people, things that they are ashamed of or they are acutely aware that that's not deemed acceptable in the public, they will change their story to make themselves feel or look as if they had more of a moral compass than they had. You were a sex worker who allegedly witnessed this woman get beat up multiple times, and you continue to go back for the money. You could just say that at this point. But the art of deception, it's like, these are some examples. A person gets out of a speeding ticket by fooling the police into revealing a time when the arresting officer will be out of town and then a requesting court date coinciding that time. A person gains access to a company's internal computer system guarded by a password that changes daily by waiting for a snowstorm and then calling the network center, posing as a snowed-in employee who wants to work from home. The art of deception. Those are some examples. He said that Cassie was the gatekeeper and that he does not know that she was actually forced to do these things. He goes on to say that they took ketamine. Diddy was extremely into Molly. They did weed, all kinds of drugs. But Molly was at that point that he was around the drug of choice. Again, he said he doesn't know that she was being forced, but she did these things to appease Diddy. One time that Diddy had a K-hole blackout because he likes ketamine. Of course, I did not know what a K-hole blackout is, but it says a K-hole is how it feels when you take a high enough dose of ketamine that both your environmental awareness and bodily control become very impaired. When someone has fallen into a ketamine hole, the slang term for this is ketamine effect. They are temporarily unable to interact with others or the world around them. So now we're getting into evidence. He says technically he doesn't think he has any evidence. He tells Tasha that she could find his plane records. Oftentimes he was flown into Miami a lot, staying at the Intercontinental Hotel. Diddy would be under the name Frank Black, and Cassie would be under the name Jackie. One time he says he was kicked out of the room for smoking weed, and he was extremely scared, so he paid the hotel off, thinking that Diddy would be mad at him for messing up his name at the hotel. And on that receipt was Diddy's information, Frank Black. But he doesn't have that receipt anymore. Seeing a theme here, people? So that was in 2016. That receipt for the hotel, he lost it. And he says he doesn't have the phones because he has had multiple phones since then, and he does not have any of like the text messages and stuff. He says he might have a Lyft receipt, which proves nothing. Now, this is important. He says he reached out to Cassie the day her lawsuit dropped to let her know he would testify. Says she settled the next day. We don't know if she ever responded to him. Diddy called him for Young Miami. He flew to Miami, but he went to a girlfriend's house, and he did not go to the Diddy Freakoff because he was sore.
That was not expected.
You were sore from what? With your girlfriend? Okay. My question is, do you have the receipt from when Diddy reached out to you for this Freakoff with Carisha? Because if you're looking for receipts, and this would have been with only in the last few years, where's that receipt at the very least? He says that Diddy gave him Molly and he hated it. So he was trying to basically say that he was also a victim who got drugged. He said after he took the drugs, he would just leave and walk around New York aimlessly. Now, this is important because this speaks to a lot. He says that he used to drive women to clients and that he looked so good. Eventually, he was told, you know, you should work as well. And then on the first outing that he got Cassie and Diddy, which was technically like pay dirt for him. Now, my thing is this: did you work for an escort service, or were you actually the John? Were you driving the girls to work, or were you set like that? What's strange about this phone conversation, and maybe Tasha doesn't go in during the phone conversations because she wants to secure the interview, but she didn't ask very many follow-up questions. I would want to know, what exactly were you doing, and how did you get in the lifestyle? And I would have so many questions. We'll see if Tasha gets the full interview, if this man comes forward with any other interviews. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know if this completely passes the smell test. He offered up no proof. And some of the things he says could be pulled. But if he is telling the truth, that's a hell of a lot of stuff to see and witness and continue doing it to collect the check. I had an interesting conversation on a panel on Gabor's channel, and we talked about women like wanting to help somebody but knowing they're going to go back to the abuser. What do you do? And I said, in a situation where I'm at work, if I see my boss abusing somebody, I can't stomach that. The other people argued, well, it's a sex worker, that's how they make their money. Do you want them not to feed the family? So I pose the same question to you guys. If you were in a situation where you were seeing somebody being brutalized, but it is by the hands of a boss or somebody who, you know, controls your future or your earnings, do you sit and watch it happen because you know the person will go back? Do you interject, or do you quit that job? Technically, if it's your boss, you could probably sue, but not for a sex worker. They're not under contract. But you get what I'm saying. I'm curious to know how you guys feel about this. Do you guys feel like he was telling the truth? I know a lot of you have expressed that you believe the stories that Ms. Booth told regarding, you know, the feminine hygiene product and Kim Porter and Cassie. I don't know that I'm believing all these things. So you guys tell me in the comments. Thanks for being here. If you're new to the channel, definitely hit that like button. If you are not new to the channel, please, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. If you are not new to the channel, please hit the like button. Another day. Have a great day, guys.